Senator Barrasso.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you also for allowing my bill and its House counterpart to be considered in this hearing. This Barrasso-Risch Tipton bill named the Bureau of Reclamation Small Conduit Hydropower Development and Rural Jobs Act. It authorizes the Bureau of Reclamation hydropower development on nearly 47,000 miles of federal canals throughout the West. In Wyoming alone, 121 sites could be developed according to the Bureau of Rec March 2012 report. Oregon has the second highest conduit hydropower capability with 68 identified sites. The bills proactively authorize hydropower development on existing facilities that have already gone through federal environmental review. The bills also provide common sense administrative and regulatory streamlining to ensure that this development proceeds to the construction phase. Both the House and the Senate bills were originally introduced with a NEPA waiver. That was done because we're talking about man-made facilities on already disturbed ground that had to go through federal permitting previously. I realize, however, that compromise on this provision is necessary to get this bill across the finish line. So working together with House counterparts, we supported an amendment that recognizes the Bureau's existing NEPA categorical exclusion process, and it strengthens it by directing it to apply to, quote, small conduit hydropower, close quote, which is something the existing process fails to do. This will help insulate the Bureau and investors from unnecessary lawsuits. It also matches how FERC currently treats similar conduits when it comes to NEPA. But by endorsing the categorical exclusion process, it also gives the Bureau the administrative flexibility to use what it calls extraordinary circumstances in case a project does deserve more scrutiny. This off-ramp from a NEPA categorical exclusion is important as part of its flexibility. The amendment was adopted by a voice vote in the House, and then the House passed this bill on a roll call vote by 416 to 7. And I'm happy to report, Mr. Chairman, that all of the Oregon House members voted for the bill. Mr. Chairman, the list of the bill's supporters grows every day. The National Hydropower Association, Family Farm Alliance, National Water Resources Association, American Public Power Association, and the Western Governors Association, the Oregon Water Resources Congress, and they're just some of the supporters. And I ask, Mr. Chairman, that the letters of support be added to the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I sincerely hope that we can move forward on this compromise, get these small hydro projects underway by getting this bill signed into law. With that being said, with all the good work that's been done to meet everyone's needs, I just want to seek a clarification with a statement, Mr. Pimley, in your written testimony. You stated, quote, Reclamation believes it should preserve its discretion to determine whether a closer review under NEPA is appropriate. It's my understanding that such a deviation from the categorical exclusion process for the installation of a small hydro conduit would occur if there were, quote, extraordinary circumstances. So can you describe maybe in a little more detail when the Bureau would exercise this discretion to do that closer review under NEPA with regard to small hydro conduits?
Yes, as you excuse me, pointed out, our assessment of extraordinary circumstances is based on an evaluation of the checklist that we utilize for all of our minor construction categorical exclusions. That document is rooted in the Department's manual, and it has been used since 2008 across the Department on all agencies to evaluate the relative impact of anything unusual that would not normally have been analyzed, perhaps in the evaluation. The experience we've had has been very good. That we wanted to use an existing process so that we weren't reinventing or plowing new ground, and by doing so, we think we've got the procedure in place to have an efficient and very timely evaluation to get us past that part of the process, past the NEPA compliance portion.
Yeah. Are there any other circumstances where the Bureau would exercise discretion to do a closer review under NEPA other than that case of extraordinary circumstances that you think of?
Well, in general, if there are some issues with local impacts or listed species and so forth, we would go through our normal NEPA assessment on most projects. But again, the idea was that we would use the minor construction process we already have in place try to use a process that has worked very well, and that seems to capture, at least up until now, the breadth of what we've encountered on those minor construction projects.
So is it your opinion that if we adopt this language and pass the House, would that accelerate, the permitting and installation of the small hydro conduits on Bureau of Canals?
I believe that the intent is to do just that. Our interpretation, as you mentioned in your opening statement, that we interpret this as basically endorsing our process we have now. And yes, we believe that process will accelerate the overall process from application through construction.
Thank you, Mr. Pinley. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Barrasso, thank you. I think you and Senator Risch have done good work on this issue, and I was going to ask a question about the extraordinary circumstances issue as well. And I know we're going to work together on this and get this out quickly. And I think you noted the almost astounding vote in the House with respect to practically can't get that kind of vote to order soda around here. So I really appreciate the good work you all have done. Let's see, next